It's been a hard day's night, and I've been working like a dog. It's been a hard day's night.
You're listening to Where You Live with Gene Sullivan.
Welcome back to Where You Live. I'm Gene Sullivan, and before we get back to our caller who has a question about how transparent should their board be when it comes to releasing information and documents and records of the association to its members, and another question about proxies. But before we get back to our caller, I'd like to let you know that we're of course, broadcasting from the True North Painting Studios, and we're brought to you by Extreme Exteriors and American Family Insurance, the Kim Bennett Agency. With Extreme Exteriors, you can count on them for expert installation of exterior siding, roofing, soffits, fascia, decks, windows, and more. With their knowledge and experience, they can design the perfect solution to make your home beautiful and energy efficient, saving you maintenance and money for years to come. Give them a call at 763-441-1334 and tell them Gene sent you. It's time now to hear from the Community Associations Institute. The CAI Minute is brought to you by New Concepts Rental Management. Whether you're an accidental landlord or a seasoned investor, New Concepts Rental Management can advise and guide you through every aspect of the business. Give us a call at 952-922-2500.
Are you a member of the Community Associations Institute? For nearly 40 years, CAI has provided education and resources to volunteer homeowners who govern community associations and the professionals who support them. Visit caionline.org to learn more. The address again is caionline.org. CAI helps community associations board members by providing online resources, in-person training, and hard copy publications written by association management experts. CAI offers community managers professional development, networking opportunities, and a certification program that is established as the industry standard nationwide. Minnesota has its own chapter of the Community Associations Institute to bring resources and tools from community associations around the country right to your home. Visit www.cai-mn.com to learn more and become a member of CAI today. Your community and management company will benefit from your involvement. Join the Community Associations Institute today at cai-mn.com and click on membership.
And we have someone on the line who will just be identified as caller because, as you know, if you listen to our show for any length of time, we don't wish to embarrass anybody. It's not about that. It's about trying to understand what our rights and responsibilities are that we have living in a homeowners association. So, caller, I appreciate you taking the time to be with us. You had a couple of questions. First question was you wanted to know how transparent should the board be, and you were saying that there were documents, records, or information that you were asking for from your association and you weren't receiving. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Now, did you not receive them at all, period, or did it just take a great length of time in receiving some documents?
I asked for agendas and minutes and any documentation. I got the minutes, but from the first time I asked to when I received them was 6.5 weeks.
Okay.
And then I did. The agendas are not released. They claim that's a board-only document.
Okay.
And then the minutes were very vague, so I'm going to have to go back and request more information.
Now, are the board meetings, are they open to homeowners?
Yes.
They are. Okay. So even if they would not produce an agenda, a person could attend the meeting and could certainly find out what's on the agenda and what they're talking about.
Yes, I have attended several meetings, and they're open for us to attend, but they will not give us any agenda or any paperwork for that meeting.
Okay. Well, to answer your question, the records, the documents of the association belong to all of its members, and you are an equal member along with anybody else that serves on the board. The only difference is that those of you that are members, that either showed up to an annual meeting and voted for someone to be on the board, or didn't bother to show up and allowed people to vote how they will, you have consented to agree to give for a limited time a certain group, small group of people to have the authority and right to be able to operate and see that the association continues to run smoothly. So that's the purpose. But the documents themselves belong to all the homeowners. Minnesota state statute says that you have the right to put in writing and send it to what is the known address of the association, the documents that you would like to take a look at, and then during normal business hours of that office, they should be able to provide a time for you to be able to meet there, to be able to take a look at all of those documents, and then also, if you wish to have copies made, you can pay whatever the copy costs are. So you do have the opportunity to take a look at documents and records of the association when it comes to agendas and minutes of meetings. Yes, all of those things I think would be open. Okay. If there's anything that shouldn't be, I guess I would say that there probably would be, if there would be a couple things that might be very sensitive, would be, let's say, one or two homeowners are in collection with the association because they're delinquent, and there are certain things that are pending with possible foreclosure and what legal steps might be taken against them. Because of that, there might be some privacy issues that you wouldn't necessarily need to know who they are and how much and what's happening. But at the end of the year, at the annual meeting, the board should be able to tell you what the delinquencies are, what the board is doing to take care of those kinds of issues. The only other issue that comes to mind would be, let's say there was a lawsuit. The association may not wish to, or the board may not wish to release some information that could be very detrimental to them winning a case. So barring that, a lot of the other things that take place, contracts and bids and the bid process and all of the things that an association goes through, yes, you're a member and you're entitled to all of those as well. You mentioned that it takes about 6 weeks or so before you get that information. Some of that might have to do, caller, just because your association is self-managed and because they're volunteers and they may not be as organized because they don't have, they haven't hired a professional management company to help keep things going and moving ahead. And so it could take a little bit more time, but they should be able to share all of that information with you. Go ahead.
What about employee records? They do have one employee. Is that open to the owners?
I would say probably no, not that would not be something that they would or should share.
Okay.
To have a line item to say we know that the entire line item of what it's costing us as an association to have this employee is X amount of dollars a year. Yes, you need to know that, but to know all of the details. Again, we're talking about some areas with privacy laws that I think people should probably have the right to some privacy. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't know what's going on in terms of what the pay is overall, what it's costing the association.
Okay.
And you had one last question, and that was about proxies, you said.
Yes.
So you said the association or board members sometimes would just send out a proxy, and it was just something for them to ask people to sign so that they could use at a future time? Is that
yes? Mm-hmm.
So it was the case then that they don't necessarily have an annual meeting set, but they were going out, sending out proxies, encouraging people to sign them, conceivably so that whenever they do hold an annual meeting, that they would be able to have a quorum and have people be able to meet. So is that what was going on?
Well, kind of. There is an annual meeting coming up. The annual report needs to be mailed out by a certain date, which has, not happened yet.
Mm-hmm.
And board members have been out handing out proxies and getting them back. And a lot of the owners are saying, we don't even know what this is about because we haven't gotten our annual packet yet.
Yeah. And,
so they're kind of
you're right
on this prematurely.
Yes, you're right. If there is a meeting of the members of an association, a couple things that state statute does require is you need to know when it's taking place, at what time, and you need to see an agenda. You need to know what is going to be discussed, what are the items that are going to be on that agenda, because that's the only way that gives you the ability to say, I'm going to attend, or no, I don't care to. But not to send any information out along with that. No, that could be I suppose people could make a stink and say, I don't know that this is a duly recognized meeting of the members, and it should be done over again if people, were making a big stink about it and say that they didn't like the way it was handled. And I do think you do have the right to expect that information to be in a packet of information sent out to you ahead of time, and then of course it needs to be sent out within whatever the guidelines are in your governing documents. Most will say something like anywhere between 10 to 21 days or 10 to 30 days prior to a meeting. You have to know when it's going to take place and what's going to be taking place. So I hope that's been helpful for you.
Yes, very helpful.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for your time. Well, we're going to take a quick break. Don't go away. Next, we've got Attorney Dan Greenstein, who's going to weigh in on a board that has an interesting way of how to deal with rental restrictions. We'll see what you think of this idea and how they are restricting rentals at their HOA after these messages.